Slow parenting family from across the globe. Thank you so much for joining me, Richie Adewusi, on another episode of Slow Parenting Podcast on YouTube via Nostalgia Media. Okay, we are grateful that you are grateful and excited that you are able to join us on this episode for today, as well as our friends on TikTok. Thank you so much, okay, for joining here. Kindly do remember to gently power tap on the screens of your devices to like the stream or to like the live. Thank you so much. Today we are taking another stride towards managing the issues of, or rather discussing the issues around discipline and parenting. We are looking at that time. If you've not been there as a parent, well, that time you feel like giving up, like, look, I'm done. I'm done. This is not it for me. Well, unfortunately, none of your children, including that one, that particular one, didn't write application for to get born in your family. Okay, yeah. So yes, it's that tough. Okay, but then as parents, those times do arrive when, like, oh, what haven't I done? What else? I've read all the books, I've followed all the strategies. Yeah. Well, that still might be one thing. There are still other things. One of those things might actually be that you probably and most likely are the one that needs some discipline in yourself. You need to discipline yourself. You need to comport yourself in certain ways in certain areas so that you can keep doing this job. Like, remember, we've told you that it's a lifetime, it's a full-time lifetime job. But then you still need to protect, okay, guard your mental well-being. Yes, guard your health, guard your mental well-being. I want you to relax a little bit more. I found a video online that I'm like, wow, wow, this is so hilarious. At the same time, very thought-provoking. What should that mother do at that point? Well, it's not our talk for today, but I just want you to, see this and laugh a little bit if you like, if you may. Laugh a little bit. Okay? Go ahead.
No, 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 no.
It's funny and it's not funny at all. But then that just maybe some kind of light-hearted backdrop to what our discussion is about today. Just put yourself in the place of that mother. And the child is oblivious of anything happening. She was having fun. Has no understanding of how much a or young flour costs in the market at all. Okay? But then the whole idea here is relax, okay? You also need to find the hilarious as a part of this whole thing. Yes, you've lost some money. What exactly are you going to do to that child that age? What? That's a teachable moment, a costly one, an expensive one, school fees. So remove the product. Maybe while you are cleaning him or her up, and then you ask the questions, and then say things that need. Beating will not solve that problem because the guy looks like a male child. The guy doesn't even know what's going on. He's just having fun. So it's important to, make it clear that that's not a plain material. But most importantly, when things like this happen, or some other things that might actually be this one, you need to look around the room and see who to point to. I'm sorry to say, it's actually you. that child should not be able to reach that product. Not blaming you, but we're just saying, okay, what do you do in this position? Well, you can't sit and blame yourself forever over it. It has happened, it has happened. The first thing is take care of what has happened, and then let the conversation happen. And then ensure that apart from saying don't touch it again, don't do that again, you too, there's a reason why they put some labeling on some products, drugs especially, harmful products. Even products like that, the floor could harm that child. The floor could, penetrate the respiratory tract, and then there's a problem. So you also need to think about the health concerns about that playful moment. It's not just about the cost of the product itself or the food item itself. You could also be looking at some health issues associated with. So you need to. They didn't put keep out of the reach of children when you went to buy it from the market. But you should know that some things, a whole lot of things should not be within the reaches of children or within the reach of children. Okay, that is one of it. Because again, apart from the money would cost you or part of it that have been wasted, that child could choke from the flour. Yes, that child could choke. And then you have a different kind of challenge in your hand. So today, that moment, those times that you feel like, oh no, I'm done. I'm done this, I'm so done. No, you are not done. You're not done. It's still, remember, people did not give up on you. Yeah. Your own parents did not give up on you. My first daughter, when we get to talk, and there are issues either about her sibling or really about her children. Well, about her children, it would be like I'll notice something as maybe I'm chatting with them online and I'm, oh, daddy, you don't understand. I said, excuse me, who is talking with you here now? We're here talking. I'm still talking with you. You're a mother. I'm their grandfather. Or you're a mother. He's your brother. Okay? Have I abandoned you? Have I said, well, take it anyhow you like? No. So you got to persevere. People stand in the gap for you. You too should stand in the gap for your children and young people that are in your care. Okay? Your children, when they are children, or when they have grown to become, well, they're no longer, well, babies, pretend they're teenagers, they're young people, they're still your responsibility. You don't give up. Even when some of them are telling you, look, I'm of age, let me go and have my own experience. Okay, so would you always want to have your own experience when you can learn from another person and save yourself some pain? Okay, so we are going to look at, okay, those moments where when it's like, oh, this is just not, this is off the pill. This is not just what I want. The child keeps repeating the same, behavior, the same practices, the same attitudes. There could be things behind the repeated pattern. So there are things you need to do yourself, which will then help you to help your child or help your children and your young people. Okay? Always interrogate, evaluate, observe, and then decide on your line of action based on what you would have observed, based on what you would have found out. Throw your hands up. Let's say, for instance, that little clip we just showed about that baby playing with the flour, the food. It's a food item anyway. Yes, it is. Playing with that flour there. We saw the mother like, oh, what am I going to do now? Sinking to the floor. I found it I mean, she still composed herself. Some people would have dropped that item she was carrying. And I believe that would have shattered them more. But she composed herself and was still able to carry it and was like sinking to the floor. Sinking to the floor won't cut it. Like I said, that child needs to be saved, needs to be taken away from that, environment. But you also need to compose yourself. You also need to ask yourself some questions, which would include, did I put that thing in there? Not blame. There's no time to blame. It's, oh, I didn't do this right. Then know also what to now tell the child. That's why we say when you get to watch our in-house video, we say there comes a time when you look around and come to the conclusion that the person who actually needs to be disciplined in the home in that particular situation or those particular situations is you first. Okay? Yeah, you did well. You worked hard. You made money. You bought food to put in the house. Well done. But where did you keep the food? The food stuff, where did you keep it? Obviously, that child couldn't lift that container from, if he was on a shelf, he couldn't go to the car. Well, we've seen videos, we've seen crazy things about this particular one. No, it didn't, because it was in a place where he could easily just bring it out. Okay, some people say, oh, it's just kit or whatever it is, I'm sure we know that when children see such kits too, it shows them what is possible. You also get to know what your children are capable of doing when you see such kits, and learn what you need to learn from them. Like what we're saying here, don't keep such things where your children could reach. Remember, at some point, even that child and the mother will probably be going hysterical. There'll be some hysteria about, oh wow, at your age you are not walking. You pray, you fast for him to or her to walk. They are just in one place, in one crib, no trouble, just their demand, and maybe demand for everything, including your attention. And he just said, okay, you should come and start walking. They start walking and not another bouquet of stress. That's one of it, because it could walk, it could get to where that stuff is and then begin to play with it. For children, almost everything is a plaything. So it's you now that's in a position to let the children know that this is a plaything, this is not a plaything. Okay, and then make sure that child does not, get to that. So there's a need that child, even at that point, that's probably not met, which is why he's doing what he's doing. That child probably might have a toy or toys, but then we probably might not have let the child to know that, yes, this is plaything. What you are doing here, this is not your plaything, and this is not your play area. This is the kitchen. Okay? There's an unmet need. Maybe an information you have not passed properly. Okay? Maybe, does the child not have some toys? There are different things that could be turned into toys that a child could be played with, even regular things in your home. Okay? So first, ask, why is this happening? It's probably that there's an unmet need that the child that's making the child behave the way that is behaving. That one is playful. It could be that the child is lying about homework, about so many other things. And then you need to find out why that was happening. And to help you going forward, you may want to, you've noticed some patterns going forward right from previous behavior and you write them down. And then you might want to pen, that means write your response pattern or response, Why do I have to do that? It saves you the headache of reacting on the spur of the moment. Okay? If there have been certain things that have happened, what should I do in case this happens again or this pattern continues? Write it down so you can respond in accordance with what you would have said. This is how I'm going to respond. Okay. You also need to find out, know yourself, because this is about you. Now, remember, we're talking discipline the child, discipline the child. Disciplining children, young people, sometimes the offending issues might not lie directly with them, might lie around them. And we are also saying that some of it might actually lie with you. So in this case also, you also need to know what triggers you. What do your children do that triggers you? Or what could they do that would trigger you? You need to know. And if the child is old enough, you can share and say, like, when you do this, this is how it makes me feel. And you agree. Remember, boundaries, agreements. Yeah. But if it's a child like the one we saw in that video playing with the yam flour, yeah, you could go ahead and give the lecture, but then you'd have to do some other, take some other action that the child would understand you, see what you are doing, see what you are demonstrating, and then follow through with, making sure that you do not leave such things in places where they can read. I'm repeating that, yes. So you know your triggers, and then try to, guard against reaching that trigger point, and try to let the ones that have grown that understand you when not go to the point of those triggers, so that you do not have what is it that gets you to become impatient the fastest that they will do? When you're ready for them, when they happen, you won't jump to that consequence first. No. You would have, because you know it, you say, no, this is not it. Richie, calm down. Just calm down. And then you confront the issue and not the child. Yes, you confront the issue and not the child. Ask yourself too, why are you feeling triggered? Why are you being triggered over that thing? Is it what this child is doing now, what this young person is doing, or is this something that has happened somewhere else that I'm just carrying into this situation that I'm seeing in this pattern? Am I seeing a pattern? Am I reacting to something that even doesn't have anything to do with it, but this just reminds me of it and it triggers me? Okay? It's still about you. The next thing still relates to that. Don't bring yesterday into now. That child that was playing with the flower, the elder sibling might have done a similar thing. Don't bring it up. No. Then if the other sibling did that and this one is also doing it, there's still something wrong. That still means you've still not been able to take precautions, take the necessary actions to prevent that from happening, like putting that container where the child would not be able to reach it and take it easily. Okay? You will make an effort, and then you will take what was there. It's not edible, it's just playing. If it's an edible, material or product, it's a different thing. Say, I want to eat it, so it's climbing to try to get it. A child will not climb to go to where that product is to take it to play. It's because it's where it touches it, it's soft, it's fun, puts his hand inside it, so soft, and carries it and pours it in his head. Continue. And you are there going, freaking out. He's not even looking at you. He doesn't even know whether they were there or not. Okay? All right. So, how do you respond? Because you have watched the pattern, because you know your triggers, you need to now have a set of predetermined responses in situations of things that trigger you, so that you are not reacting. You've preempted things from happening. When they now do happen, you are ready, you are prepared. Some parenting books would always say, we've said it here on the program as well, severally, don't discipline your children when you are angry, and when you are angry in anger. Yes, how does that happen? These are the steps you need to take for that not to happen. Because every individual is prone to, react in certain ways under certain conditions. But this is parenting. You are not at war with your children or young people. So don't make them the enemy, them and me. No. Okay? You want every action, every behavior, every attitude to lead to that individual you see in your mind's eye, you are praying in your mind's eye, will stand out in society tomorrow and be able to take informed decisions that will benefit himself, herself, the family, and then society in general. Okay. We're going to play you in-house video at this time. But before we play you an in-house video, we still want to draw your attention to the newest of the products that we have. The newest tool we have released globally is the Family Life Education Card Game Pack. It's available on Shopify and QPMN. You have the QR code. I think they'll put it on the screen. You'll see, you have the links, you have the QR code. This game helps you to discuss some very challenging issues that most homes, and choosing my word, most homes would not ordinarily take up to discuss. Some of the issues, most of the issues, I think that most homes, most parents wish that the children would get to know somehow. They need to be discussed. So this card game helps you to get on with family bonding, get on with talking, okay? Because it ensures that everybody sitting around and playing that game would say something. It's designed that way. So, check it out and then pick a copy for yourself. You could pick up as a gift to give to somebody to help them with their family bonding, okay? And of course, we have all of these other parenting books that are designed to help you do this very important job of parenting. There are so many resources online. This channel, we have almost 200 videos, on different issue areas of parenting. You can avail yourself of search, and then there are some other, resources online. All we are concerned about is you being able to keep talking. Don't get tired of talking, not out of anger, not out of being busy, not out of anything. Keep talking, because remember, they didn't apply to arrive in your family. Okay, so let's watch our in-house video, and then we'll come back and continue. Thank you.
Dear parents, every parenting method eventually meets its hardest test at some point in the process. The child or young person who would not listen no matter what you try. The behavior that makes you question everything. And then, the moment you realize the person in the room who certainly needs some discipline right now is you. This episode does not look away from any of those. This is episode 8 in our Parenting and Discipline series on the #SlowParenting podcast, drawn from Dr. Richie Adewusi's upcoming book, Effective Parenting Strategies: The Power of Positive Discipline. Please subscribe now, because this is the episode most parenting content are too comfortable and conflicted to have. Here are 5 ways to navigate those and such other challenging parenting moments with honesty. 1. Investigate the unmet need before you reach for a consequence. Persistent defiance and lying almost always carry an unmet need underneath them. For example, a child or young person who keeps lying about finishing homework may be overwhelmed, not lazy. Before responding, ask, what might they be needing right now that they cannot ask for directly? Addressing the real need rather than just the surface behavior leads to lasting change rather than a cycle of repeated punishments for the same problem. 2. Build a written response plan for your most recurring challenge. Choose your most frequent challenge, for example sibling conflict, and write a 3-step plan. Step 1. Pause and identify the unmet need. Step 2. Name what you observe without labeling the child or young person. Step 3. Deliver a logical consequence if genuinely needed. Having this plan ready means you respond with intention even on your most exhaustive days, and your children and young people experience consistency instead of unpredictability. 3. Identify and name your personal parenting triggers. Write down what erodes your patience fastest. For example, being ignored when you speak, or talk backs. Once named, trace such honestly and ask where you first encountered that feeling. Naming your triggers gives you the self-awareness to pause before reacting, which protects your relationship with your children and young people from being shaped by old wounds that have nothing to do with them or the present. 4. Separate your history from your child's behavior. When a trigger fires, leave the room for 60 seconds. For example, if your child or young person rolling their eyes sends you into instant anger, use those 60 seconds to ask, is this about what they just did, or what this reminds me of? This pause prevents reactions that are disproportionate to the moment, and over time your children and young people experience a parent who responds to them rather than to the past. 5. Replace reaction with a rehearsed response. For each trigger, write one sentence to use instead of your automatic reaction. For example, I hear you and we are going to talk about this calmly. Practice it daily for a week before you need it in a real moment. A rehearsed response delivered calmly becomes a new default over time, replacing old patterns with ones that build trust instead of fear. These 5 practices would turn the hardest parenting moments into the most formative ones, not just for your children and young people, but for you as a parent. Please watch our live stream on this topic, where this topic is discussed at length. Please engage and drop your questions. Let's interact as a community. Thank you for watching. If this video is helpful to you, please like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments section. Kindly share with other parents who are navigating this, and stay connected with the #SlowParenting podcast community. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode in this series.
Thank you. Welcome back. All right. So, as always, would always, if you like, synthesize, sift all that needs to be taken down in ways that will help you to practice them in the in-house video, which you can always go back to, to consult for reference. Thank you, Bloom, for joining on TikTok. At this point, we'll go straight into looking at contribution from community members. The first one here says, at what points did you yourself feel like giving up completely as a parent? Depends on you don't really ever feel like giving up completely, but then you get to points where you give individuals the room and especially when they become adults, okay? You give them the opportunity to live out their fantasies, okay? But as children and toddlers, young people who are still, needing you, really know that they need you to get going. There's nothing like giving up. It's like you have to find that extra strength to continue. Okay, even the adult ones, it's not like you give up. It's like you give people the chance. When somebody tells you, "I'm old enough to take care of myself," okay, you step back. That's not giving up. It could take years. It could take a few days, weeks, hours, months. It could take years. But the important thing is to know that even you as a parent, you need to shield your own mental health. Okay? So you do not pack up and then you don't need to care yourself. Okay, so it's not, because this was a direct question. The person asked, at what point did I as the children are growing up, no matter what they do, you'll find ways and uh, help them to see how unhelpful that is at the moment, or that could be going forward. You give the appropriate examples. Like we said, right now, technology makes all of this a whole lot easier. You would always find one video or the other that you can send to them, or you can download and say, watch this. I want you to see this. And thereafter, you can have that conversation about whatever that particular issue is. In line with today's topic, you don't give up, but know what triggers you and put them up for discussion, maybe at your next family conference, to review your boundaries. Okay, and agree on them. And I ask everybody, let everybody share with the group, the family, the things that trigger them. So everybody knows what triggers everybody. And say, when this happens this way, it makes me feel this way. You discuss it, everybody write it down. So everybody knows everybody's triggers. And then you try to avoid those. Okay, even after you've done those, people make mistakes, things can happen. But then there are also things that people plan, take time to plan. Also, be sure to be on ground, to be present, to advise, to counsel. This route you are on is not going to pay you. It's not going to pay me. This is how it's going to make me feel. This is how it's going to make me look. And these are the consequences. Discuss them. Agree. What if the person insists, okay, this is definitely what I want to do? Okay. You have to protect yourself. Okay. Your mental health. The second question here, what do parents do when their child says he or she is leaving the house? Do they let the child go so they don't understand how? So they do understand how hard life is, or stop the child? Well, this will be a young person. So yes, you get back to that person as your child, but this person is not a child in that sense, because let's make those differentiations here. Someone who will tell you I'm leaving the house is not a toddler. It falls within the category of the response for the first question. Sit the person down, review the issues involved, and let the person make his or her decision. So let the person probably live with the choice that he or she has made or is making. Let the consequences be known up front. Remember, protect, guard your own mental health. So in case of no, you don't understand, life is hard out there. Well, some people want to understand how hard. So but discuss it. Don't say, oh, go. No, discuss it. If you take this step, these are the likely outcomes. Make it clear. So let the person to, make his or her decisions, okay? Yep. How do parents differentiate between the common teenage know-it-all phase and real rebellion? Patterns. Know-it-all discussions. We've said, don't leave anything to go without interrogating it. But first, also put yourself in that person to be interrogated. What have I done? What did I learn from this? if you remember how we've come to this particular episode, all of these are in line. Well, when the book finally gets released, you know your child. A child that changes, that you notice some behavioral change, you need to now interrogate to know what could be. There are some physiological things, that changes that occur. Let me not say changes that occur because of hormonal changes in young people. You also know, because you have to be aware of those things and know, okay, this person is 13 now, going to 14, 15. There are challenges, and you now because the young person might also be struggling, don't understand what's going on, and you think he's rebelling. No. So there's the age issue. There is also the issue of how have you been relating? How have you been communicating up to that point? How has that child been responding to the things you are now seeing as the child being rebellious about? Has that been the pattern of this child's behavior or practices? If the answer is no, you still sit down and say, I don't know you with this. What's going on? Talk to me. You can talk to me. Yeah. So what you might be thinking is rebellion, the child might still be struggling with some things. You have to find out. Okay? And then if it's indeed rebellion, you also know it for what it is. And then you also sit down and point out the consequences of that rebellion. What's going to happen? Oh, yes, state it. This is what's good. This is how this will go down. If you insist on, continuing to exhibit this behavior or this lifestyle of this practice, this is I know this road. You said, this bus you are on now, I know the last bus stop. Okay, and you don't want to get there. Okay, yeah. Another community member here says, I have read the Bible with my son every day for 17 years. Okay, and gone to church every Sunday. Now, all of a sudden, he says he's an atheist, and I'm so confused. Please, what do I do? What does he find interesting in atheism? Yeah. All of us question sometimes, or most of us question sometimes, is there really God? If God is there, why did this happen to me? Find out what led. Number one, find out from your child what, and then also in the line of that interrogation, who are his friends? What books has he been reading? Okay, we go back to the beginning of this series. Know your child. A child with whom you probably have been going to church and reading the Bible with this, just reading the Bible. Okay, he's reading the Bible. He sees that this is Bible. Fine. He might actually be the one to read it. Does he understand what he's reading? Do you have a deeper conversation? Do you have deeper conversations about the Bible reading? Does he see you practice the things you read in the Bible, or does he see something else? So when children are confused, when it's like, do as I say, not as I do, there's confusion. They begin to look for answers, the same answers that you look for too at some point. So if at that point, if the persons that provide what seem to be some answers that would make sense to them, even if that person is an atheist, they will follow the atheist. So be present in the lives of your children and young people. Be the first person. That issue of becoming an atheist did not happen in one day. That interest in atheism did not happen in one day. You've not observed to see the books or the movies he's been interested in. You've not observed to see the kind of friends that he or she has. Okay? I know of a family, all girls, a single mother, upbringing. And there are two sisters. Yeah, the children, two sisters. But one kept, developed a pattern of withdrawing, not interested in what's happening. The things that they do together just kept withdrawing. Until one day, she arrives with a friend and then introduces the friend to the mother, say, this is my boyfriend. And the boyfriend happened to be another girl. And the mother broke down. Eventually, it turned out that the child was confused about a whole lot of things, but the mother did not notice, did not interrogate those moments, And it happened that this, her friend, was the one that was there all the time, school, go to play games. Because the mother was like, where did this come from? This is not how I brought my children up. Yes, you've been reading the Bible for 17 years, going to church for 17 years. Have you always been there for that child? Is that child, are you the first point of, first point of call when that child is confused about anything? Can you sit down? Can you sit down and that child comes to you and say, Mom, I really don't understand it. Can you play? Oh, okay, I'm busy. I read, yeah, I'm going to bring this up here now. I read a letter yesterday, just yesterday. Today is the 24th of June 2026. Yesterday, 25th of June 2026. I read a letter purportedly written by the former president of Nigeria, civilian president, was one time military head of state and then eventually civilian president. Admonishing people, encouraging people to live their lives now. Don't wait. And he shared in that letter, there's so much packed in that letter. He shared in that letter how his daughter, one of his daughters, I don't think he has only one, I don't think so, I'm sure, approached him and wanted him to sit with her, to watch an ant, to sit with her in the garden, in their garden, and watch an ant. And he said, he told the daughter, look, I'm making money, and walked away. This is just yesterday. And I'm like, wow. I remember my son, my own son. My son could follow an ant as he was growing up. He could follow an ant to travel all the length and breadth of that ant's journey. And I would watch him. I would be there. Okay, where is he going now? He was saying what's happening. But General Obasanjo said, look, I wish I had. Okay, so be there. Be there to prevent. Look, again, let me not tell you there's a silver bullet to solve that problem. There's none. But you do your bit. The important thing is to do your bit. There would always be that one child that regardless of what you do, how you've related, how you've lived, that would always decide at the end of it to take the left turn instead of going right, go left. Don't kill yourself. Just be sure to have done what you ought to have done. So be there from the beginning. Know your child. Know your children. Let them be able to reach you, touch you. Okay? I saw a video online of a mother beating her child who had joined the gang. Apparently, the child never went back to the gang after that. What is your opinion? Beating, Beating is not the solution to anything. You can beat that child into becoming secretive. It wouldn't mean that that child stopped. He might not just let you know, but discuss it. Ask what the interest in that group that you call a gang is. Seek to understand the group, seek to understand what they do there. Clarify that it's truly, a gang of, okay. Again, remember your culture, your tradition, your family values. But this is not who we are, Remember what we discussed about this? Yes. Let your children know why you will not want them to do specific things, or why it's not the best idea for them to follow specific paths. You beat, you shut things up. You beat, you harden sometimes. You beat, you damage that person's, when you continuously do that, you damage that person's self-esteem, assertiveness, because that person becomes an easy prey for other people, colleagues at work, friends in school, spouse in marriage, on relationship, on partnership. Yeah. So the consequences, beating, no, Nobody would say, well, we've not caned the child at one point or the other. Most parents have. But that's not a pattern. It's not something that, that's the first thing that happens. No. Have that conversation. And you will get to know at a point that, no, this is not working. Yeah. Okay. 6 years says, when parents genuinely cannot find hidden issues that could be causing defiance, even after trying their best, what should they do? Observe them more, interrogate them more. There's something the child himself or herself might not even understand. We've talked about hormonal changes in adolescence. There are things that people do, they don't even know why they are doing it. Find out. And also find out what their friends are doing, if they are copying their friends. And then discuss further. Reiterate your family values, your cultural values, your traditional values. And then underscore with that person's life dreams, life goals, which should be part of what you will discuss from time to time. Okay, you passed. Well done. Wow. How did you finally now get comfortable to write this English, and then you scored an A? Oh, Mom, after we discussed the other time, okay, now you passed this English. Well, what do you want to do with that English? What do you want to do with this subject? Oh, I want to be, something leads to the other. And then when things happen, do you know that this kind of habit, this attitude, this practice will prevent you from becoming this person you said you want to be in the future? If you continue in this pattern, it's going to be difficult. You're not going to, it's going to make it difficult or impossible for you to. You also match that with expectation, with goals, with dreams. And somehow, at some point, yes, you could win that winnable child. Every child is winnable, really, okay? But some things just happen and people sidetrack, okay? This one here says, I have been warning my daughter for months, but the other day she was caught breaking a law but escaped. I know I should report her to the police, but how can a father send his own daughter to jail? It's tough. There's no way to sweet talk it. It's tough. Discuss it again. And let the child know that he escaped, you said? Yeah, okay, discuss it again. And let the child know that if that attitude or behavior or practice continues, you will let the police know for her own good. Because it might continue and happen in a place, in a situation that she might not be able to escape. And being in police custody gets to become something that's more preferred to what else could happen to her. Okay? Or you could go to the police, discuss with the police what has happened, but then let them know that you just want her to be frightened about, be afraid. It's risky in certain environments, okay? There are certain environments that it's not police, it could be some form of law enforcement. If you like, you can script it, look for a friendly police officer, bring the police and say, well, if you promise not to do this again, then if this happens, you could do all of those. But when things get to criminalities that you talk about, who are call police, well, when you do have to call police, or you'll be in trouble. It's not about even you. Sometimes, like I said earlier, bringing law enforcement in could save the child from more, permanent consequences. Okay? Yeah, so we want to thank you. This is how much we can take from the contributions from community members. Thank you guys from TikTok. Wow. Thank you. We're almost on 4K. Let's push it. Let's push it to see if we can get to 4K before we say, as we are saying, bye-bye, really. Yes. Thank you guys. Okay. Again, it's a pleasure. I am enjoying this series in issues of discipline because it's both ways. It's for your children, it's for yourself. Because in parenting, there are two sides to the knife. And you need to now sharpen the knife on those two sides, not just one side. You need to be sure. The Bible says, children, obey your father and your mother. That's one side. The other side, it says, you fathers, don't provoke your children. So everyone needs to be at alert. Watch out. Relate. Cooperate. Okay? Bond. Everybody needs to. All parties stand to gain within a bonded family. And that's exactly why we have invented, designed, produced the Family Life Education card game for you to play. The card pack is available now. We are releasing the workbook for it. Soon we'll let you know when that starts, because what that does is it helps you to the workbook is what it is. Workbook, okay, provides you with some tools, some extra tools with which to play the game. But you can play the card game from the pack you pick up right away. You don't need the workbook to play the card game. But the card game is just another version that makes it easier, affordable for some people that might find that particular version of it, much more pocket friendly. So thank you so much for being part of my show today on TikTok and on YouTube. Okay, it's still Richie Adewusi, still Slow Parenting Podcast on TikTok, and on YouTube, and then the Parenting for All season live stream on TikTok. Thank you. I am saying bye-bye now from wherever you are. You've joined me from across the globe. We're here again the next episode. We look forward to having you join us. We'll still be discussing parenting and discipline, parenting gaps that in the areas of discipline. Okay. Thank you for being here. Till I see you again, it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and then 7 p.m. West Africa time, including Nigeria. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.